Okay, and we are off against Arter Chessmood 05. And we'll start with the Sicilian. Make sure everything looks good here. Try and leave up the standings as much as we can. I don't have high hopes for my speed, but hopefully after a game or two we'll be able to really speed up. Okay, well that's a free piece. E5's the main move there, so kind of surprised that they did that. They're really playing fast. They are really playing fast. Okay, let's go into C7. So it looks like their plan is they're going to just try and checkmate me since they lost the piece. Thank you for the host. Let's try and break things open with D5 and get it their queen. So I capture, they capture, I capture, they capture again. That's not good for me. So we'll come back to E8, normal square for the knight. Maybe into D6 and C4 later on. And their king isn't castled either. So they can take this pawn with check. I might have to move my king. They take my rook. This looks a bit dangerous. Capture. All right, we'll do it. We'll dare them to checkmate me. Oh. They don't take the rook, okay. My king isn't super happy at the moment. I want to play queen to E5 check. See if he takes with the rook. I want to try and trade off queens here. That's what we need to do. If we can trade off queens, our king might survive. Okay, he says no to that idea. Fair enough. Still a minute 10 on the clock. Let's bring this queen up the board. Thanks for stopping by. Ooh, looks like we're going to lose that one. They removed the defender of my queen there. All right, well played by my opponent. After they dropped that piece in the opening, they got an attack we could not match. A little bit of a warm-up for us. On to game number 2. It's going to be a lot of games today. 3-0 Blitz for 2 hours. So if each game takes about 5 minutes, we should get close to 25 games in. He didn't play E6. Okay, now he does. Knight F4, get on this bishop, threaten to win the H5 pawn. So last time I had a similar position, I took with the knight, and that was incorrect. So I'm supposed to take with the pawn, I think. And then am I just supposed to trade bishops? Maybe I trade them this way. I'd like him to take my bishop, though, because I don't want him to recapture with a knight. But we may not have a choice here. Bring this knight back to defend. reinforce d4. And we are up a pawn right now. Now he's taking his time. Yes, c5 makes a lot of sense. Let's play c3. Again, reinforcing that d4 square. I guess I wouldn't mind the queen trade since I'm up a pawn right now. So maybe queen to b3 next. Okay, he just takes right away. We'll retake with the pawn. If I retake with the knight, then I have to worry about this pawn here. So now bishop to d2, knight takes d4, bishop takes b4. I got to be careful of the knight showing up on f3. Maybe just king f1 here. It avoids any checks later on and keeps the d4 pawn defended. And this time we have a bit of a time edge. They're down to 1:30. Yeah, looking to get on the c file makes sense. Let's kick this bishop. Their rook might be going to c4. But we can always place our bishop on the e3 square. No queen b3 now. Rook to h3 is an interesting idea to swing it over to the queen side. I think I like that. You can go to d3. It can go to c3. Both of those squares look good. If I play bishop e3, it can even recapture on that square. The only other choice was to go to the g file, but I don't think I want to really fight on the king side right now. One danger, though, is if I move this rook, I will be dropping the h-pawn. Okay, he could take it anyway. So now I don't have to worry about that. Okay, and what happens if I just go after the queen here? Or is there a way for me to remove the defender of the knight with my bishop? I don't see it. This knight is pinned right now. Important to note. I wouldn't be surprised if this knight goes back to f5. Maybe I play h6 and try and get back to the g file. That's another idea. Or back to the h file. Let's try and open up that king side. He's going after this knight. We'll go after the bishop. It was a lost knight anyway. Yeah, this knight being pinned is quite annoying. We can't take here, though. That looks like a free rook. We'll take that. Yeah, makes sense. Try and get the queen trade in. Oh, I'm the one down on time now. I'm just going to lose on time. Not fast enough. They were too fast for us. All right, on to the next one. When our knight got trapped there on the king side, we really lost our time advantage. Okay, on to game 3. Losing games really doesn't matter if we're not on a streak. So if we get all of our losses out of the way at the beginning like this, that's perfectly fine. Not sure I want to retake with the knight. I might want to retake with the queen. Because my knight might want to go up to d4. I can capture here and win a pawn, but I'm not sure I want to do that before my king is castled. Yeah, and he saves it right away. Let's get castled. He's really trading here. Probably need to play a6, try and get rid of that bishop. Time-wise, we've got almost a minute time advantage, so we're playing faster this game. The trick is to play fast and play good moves. D5 is covered by our knight, so we don't have to worry about them jumping in there yet. Let's get this rook active. And now maybe b5 at a later point. Maybe my queen even wants to get up to d4 with that check. Go after the bishop. Our next decision is whether or not we want to take with the f-pawn or the h-pawn. But it's a decision for another time. First, let's go ahead and create some threats on the king side. Can I play e5 here? No, he takes en passant. All right, let's get the queen safe. Try and look for another check. Okay, let's throw in that check. That looks good. And then I want to play knight to f2 next. Hey, Nelson. It's going pretty well. Just got that rook, so things are looking up for us. So now we're up the exchange, and we're up a minute on the clock. Do you recommend 15 plus 10 or 30 plus 0 for improvement? Assuming you can get an equal number of games, I would say 30 plus 0. I think it's pretty often challenging to get 30 plus 0 games online, though. So if you spend a lot of time just sitting there waiting for a game, then I would go 15 plus 10. But the longer the game, the better. Yeah, I can play knight to e4 here. Knight takes, queen takes, pawn takes, rook captures. Although I guess they could play pawn takes. Yeah, and they can just give up the queen right away. And I guess I lose material. So that might not have been the best tactic. They've gone king to h2. When my knight was on g4, it was guarding h2. Yeah, removing the games afterwards is the most important. That is very true. Okay, next game. The start of a streak. Some people have won 5 games already, but we won't worry about them. So black can give us doubled C pawns, and they can even take the E pawn. But this sort of position typically works out pretty well for white in my experience. We have plenty of compensation. Objectively, it's equal. Yeah, he doesn't even take it, which is probably a smart move. So we'll load up on the E file, and then just queen d6 looks pretty good. And we get our pawn, well, at least one pawn back whenever we want. Bishop to a3 is another idea here. We've got the bishop pair. We've got better development. Nice amount of files. Okay, we'll go pointing at the king side. I don't see any queen traps or anything to worry about yet. So what kind of kingside attack can we get going? They want to move their knight with a discovery on my rook. But I'm going to say that my kingside pressure is more important. Yeah, so they're attacking the rook. But now I can threaten mate a couple of different ways. I think I like this way first. Now I can even move the rook to pile up on one of these other files. If I went to e5, f6 looked a little bit annoying. They play f6 anyway. Interesting. All right, so if I just pile up on the g file, try and force them to defend, and then move our knight to a better square, maybe the f5 square. Not a huge time advantage here. Still down the original pawn, but definitely have compensation for it. After f5, we're threatening to go to h6. We're threatening to go to d6. Keep that bishop safe. Keep it lined up with their king. He disapproves of their f6. Yeah, Ben Feingold doesn't like to play f6. That is very true. Okay, do I just switch to the h file then? Again, threatening both d6 and h6. We can also take this knight whenever we want. The knight's actually pinned right now to the queen. Okay, that was defended. So probably time for them to resign. Okay, that's 2 in a row. Let's go. A streak of 2 puts us in 187 out of 1,300. That's respectable. All right, Dimitri's up next. An E4, E5 game. Ooh. Very early bishop c5. I can take this pawn if I want, but I want to get castled first. Yeah, I'm okay playing it boring here. So bishop g5, knight to c6, knight to d5 kind of position. I am 1 move ahead. So that should be good for me, right? Which way do we capture here? Yes, this is the first e4, e5 game of the tournament. That's right. So knight takes, pawn takes, bishop h6. Or we go bishop takes, pawn takes, and leave our knight there. I don't like that as much. I think we're going to take with the knight. And I'm going to try and use this g-file. How does he stop me from just getting on the g-file? I guess I did give up a little material there, didn't I? Since I didn't take their rook. Maybe I needed to take their rook here. But this feels too good. We'll see. We may have been overly ambitious. If I could teleport my bishop over to f5, then I'd be really happy. That's true. I could have still taken their rook. Queen f5. I mean, now they're going to force me to take their rook. I really thought they were going to try and take the g-file. But I think now we take the rook, and then we try to reroute our bishop onto this diagonal. I could play bishop d5, though, also. I got to watch my time. Oh, you're right. I didn't change the piece set. We will do that after this game. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Checkmate. Yeah, didn't work. He ended up getting the g-file. Yeah, if I get the g-file, I should be better. But that didn't quite happen. All right, piece set that you redeemed. Classic pieces plus icy board. Classic and board is ICC. You think I had bishop g4 to save? Yeah, I may have. I also had 20 seconds. That was probably the biggest issue, is that they had a huge time advantage because of the opening. First d4 game of the day. All right, so our 2-game streak was broken. But fear not. We're going to get a new streak going. We still have 95 minutes. Bishop d6. I want them to move this bishop before I capture on the c4 square. Yeah, so now I'll take. Yeah, I got checkmated. You missed me getting checkmated on the G file. It was all about that G file. I guess I play a5 to prevent him from playing b4. And then here we play e5 to prevent him from playing e5. Very preventative chess at the moment. And maybe queen to c7 or rook to c8. Rook c8 looks good. Can I play c5 now? No, I'm not sure I can. I can play b4, though, and attack that knight. Where's that knight going? Over to the a file. Not a lot of great choices, but then it wants to come into c5 anyway. All right, I'm actually going to take here. And then I'll put my queen on f4 maybe. Oh, he took with the knight. I didn't expect that. Probably going to f4 anyway. Maybe my knight's going into e5. Just need to be careful my queen doesn't get trapped here. And see if we can catch up on time. All right, now our queen's safe again. Knight e5 still happening. He can't really take on b5 because then I take on the e4 square. And that knight, I think, was much better than my rook. And the knight on f5 I couldn't do anything about. So this isn't terribly bad for us. Bishop takes, knight takes attacking the queen. All right, good luck in class. Try and keep everything defended here. I'm at 30 seconds. He's at a minute. Definitely need to play faster. Okay, attack the queen. Attack the queen. If he pushes f3, then I get to play queen takes g3. Time's becoming more even. c5 still defended. Save the knight, hit the rook. Back rank is fine because he doesn't have a bishop anymore. Time is not fine though. Oh, and we got him on time. A dirty flag at the end. Just jumping that knight around. I feel sorry for that a little bit, but we earned those few extra seconds. And now we're up against a WIM. So some very strong opposition now, 2,300. Apparently also a fast player, as we're seeing right now. I don't think they're going to push e5. Can I push e5? I think so. Looks like I need to do something about that structure. Yes, looks like an Armenian flag. I believe you're right. And they got their pawn there. Throw in this check. And then try and open the e-file. Where's that knight going? Can't go queen b6. All right, let's force that knight to move again. I'm not sure where it wants to go. But I'm not allowing it. Wherever it wants to go right now, it's not allowed. The f2 square is still a bit weak if I can get my knight up there somewhere. This is a reasonable position. I need to get this pawn out of the pin. So let's bring the rook to the d file. Down 25 seconds on the clock. We take knight. They take rook. Guess that's not ideal, is it? C3 expected. Now if the rook takes, I get to play knight to c4. Down to 45 seconds. Got to keep playing fast. Yeah, we get a little fork here. Push this pawn if I get out of the pin. Ooh, that allows them to take the knight. Yeah, now my king is not as happy. king is not happy right now. Oh. Oh, darn it. Oh, we couldn't make it happen. We had it. We had it at the end there. We were so close. Check. Still no. Oh, we'll have to go back and look at that one. But I think we had them on the ropes there when they allowed us that check on the back rank. Let's see. We'll open in another tab. Wait, that's not what I want. I'm not even sure how to... Oh, there we go. Yes, it said we're basically winning for most of the middle game. As soon as we won the exchange, we're just winning. And then the check was bad. All right, so what do I do instead? Queen to d2 and attack the rook. Yeah, very interesting. We'll have to go back and learn from that one later, but we were beating them. Just got to keep working on that speed. We also want to switch back to our normal board and such. We go in blue. And I don't even remember which pieces we were using. We'll use these pieces for now. Nine out of 10 at the top. Lots of time left, though. I expect the titled players to start creeping up. Yeah, there they are. Okay, that's a mistake. So we're not down a pawn, and they can't castle. So that's pretty nice for us. We can get castled here ourselves. And this looks like a great knight move. Yeah, this is a fun event. It is a fun event. Unfortunately, I don't have any lessons at this time at the moment. Do we play e5? Try and get my second knight in? They're pinning this knight. The one disadvantage of this position is their king's on a dark square. So it's a little harder for me to get out of all of the stuff on the f3 square. So I think we'll play our rook up. And try and use the f-file. Everythingchess.com organizes, doesn't work with your schedule. Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of people. It's hard to schedule something that works on everyone's schedule. Check, maybe? Just throw it on the e-file? Whoa. It's a bold move right there. Let's make sure that king can't run too far away. Go back and look for some kind of check. Try and get a checkmate going. Oh yeah, that's right. You can play Entitled Tuesdays now. Double check. Or check over here. Probably this check. Here. H4 next. Huh. My knight doesn't have any great places to go. They're fighting hard. And I'm 25 seconds on the clock, so time to speed up. Try to go for this check. Oh, we also have queen here, which would have been mate last turn. Check. Yeah, we missed forced mate. So now if I lose on time, I have no one to blame but myself. Just out of time. Out of time. Come on. Oh, I couldn't move the knight again. Yeah, no one to blame there because I missed the forced mate. 3-0 is fast. I feel like I'm keeping pace in the openings, but I'm just playing the middle games too slowly. So maybe I need a larger time edge in the opening to make up for that. Got to watch out for the H7 square. They're eyeing that up. But now maybe I can get something going on the C file against Potato Boy 007 here. Yeah, and he actually moves the queen again as a result. Trade some pieces here. So now if the queen goes back, they're threatening bishop takes f6. So I probably need to play h6 in that position. c5, not super expected there. I want to play e5 is my idea. He does not want me to play e5. Okay. Guess we'll just jump in. F5 is a possibility. Got to be a little careful, though, because they've got bishop c4. Get on the d file. Pin that bishop. Attack the pinned piece. And e5. Pawn takes. Try and double on the d file. Somehow we're still down on time. I don't know where it all went. Time just disappears. Is the a-pawn a weakness? That's what we're about to find out. If I can get on this dark square diagonal, I might have some play. Pin the rook. Too many pieces coming off the board for my liking. All right, let's risk it. It might just lose to rook to d8, but we had to try something. Yeah. And they get in on f7. And we still hadn't caught up on time. Got to find a way to go faster. Queen e8 was a fork. Yeah, so maybe we couldn't take that pawn. h5, okay. We'll still castle. Too bad this doesn't trap anything. It comes close to trapping stuff. To get off that C file. I think he can win the e-pawn. If he plays b4, knight e2, and then he can capture. Yeah, so he decides to go for that. Although, actually, maybe I can save it. Maybe. No, I think I still lose the e-pawn. Even after all that. Yeah, because he has that move. All right, well, can't save it, so onward we go. We can start trying to open the king side. And there's some ideas of playing rook to d7 in some positions. As he's not going to allow it yet. Time's pretty close to even. Goes backwards. Try and keep the rooks on the board. Now there's no back ranks. So can I double up on the H-file here? Yep, that looks like a good move. Threading the rook. Also threading the H7 square. Check. Improve our knight. Threading a fork that he doesn't fall for. Aim for the B7 square, maybe. Okay, knight. Do your thing. Oh, and we're out of time. Didn't really have a chance there. He had 15 seconds left. I think when we played bishop h7, that's when we had the best chance, but we couldn't keep our king safe enough, or couldn't keep his king trapped in. And Hikaru's up in the third place. First titled player to make their way up into those top spots. And we're right about the halfway mark. Let's try a little gambit here. Change of pace. Nope, they don't want a gambit. Then bishop b4 next. This is pretty similar to a Goring Gambit declined. Except they don't have a C pawn and they have an E pawn. Go after the B pawn. Can't take it yet. Maybe we play D5, try and open up the E file. Probably want to protect that D pawn again. I think it's probably pretty equal. Yeah, I don't think it gives really an advantage to either side. Okay, interesting. So we can play knight here and go after their bishop. Not sure that's worth it, though. We'll try it. Okay, they don't take back. I'll keep this. Now we've got the bishop pair. And we've got a lot of pressure on the b7 pawn. If he takes on e3, we unisolate our d pawn, which is nice also. So they try and block that diagonal. Makes sense. Can I move my bishop somewhere useful? Not really. Queen e2. This way, if I play bishop g5 and they push f6, my queen can take with check. It does come with this downside, though. The downside of getting forked. So now we've got the bishop, but in exchange for actual material. We'll see if our center pawns can do much here. Swing over to the H file. Play bishop to e4. Yeah, my king doesn't have anywhere to hide. Nowhere to hide. If the queen moves too far, we've got a check. But just a check. That's checkmate. Lost position anyway. Lost position and down on time. So we got to fix one of those. We either need to get faster or play better moves. This is a weird Caro-Kann. I think we're going to just push the H pawn. I haven't seen this before. Oh, he got the lead and they gave it back. All right, we're on e6 and we're threatening h7. if they take on b2, I think I just play king here. Got to be a little careful. If my rook leaves the back rank, my other rook is hanging. Okay, but that doesn't look like a good move. He's looking to sacrifice the rook on that square. If so, I can play knight back to e2 to defend. Come up and attack the rook. Then we take with the queen here, so that he doesn't have the fork at the end. And that should be it. Okay, finally a nice game. Oh, they offered a draw. That makes sense. In this very even position. They're losing the knight here also. Knight to c8, the rook comes down. Check. We'll come back this way. Okay, good game to our opponent. New streak. Got a new streak now. And Hikaru is in third. He's 13 out of 15. I don't see any other titled players yet. Okay, there's someone else in the top 25. But still close to an hour left, so lots of time. And then when they take with the knight, we drop back like this. Bishop takes h7, doesn't quite work. I mean, hide in the corner. Now the queen's still hit. Now the queen's hit, the knight's defended, and their bishop's under attack. I think if they wanted to attack my knight, they should have gone to a5 because I couldn't push the b pawn yet. But now if they go to a5, I can push b4. And even if everything I calculate doesn't quite work, we do get a nice time edge. Just got to remember that our queen is tied to that knight. Force their queen to move again. Looks like a nice square at some point. I guess we'll attack the queen. Now we've got two attackers on e6 also. Yeah, I should have played bishop here first. Thought of that as soon as I let go of the rook, is that the other move was better. My rook's looking a little stuck here, guys. What can we do about that? We can attack the queen. Not sure how that helps, but get another fork here. Okay. And now things are happening. Bishop takes h7. Rook takes g4. A lot of stuff in the air right now. There's a check. "25 seconds left. Another fork. I'm guarding g2. They're on the knight, though. Once again, time is an issue. No, I could have just taken the queen with checkmate. Queen takes queen was mate. Oh, I did not expect that rook move. Felt like we outplayed him. And then, as soon as we're both under a minute, I'm struggling. Sounds like I'm going to have to practice more bullet. Okay, this is the second game we've had against this player. We've played them once before now. Back that bishop up to safety. Queen f3 is a pretty common move in these positions. Eyeing up c7, perhaps. Knight to f4 also looks pretty good. Let's get castled first. See where that bishop wants to go. Then we got to make a decision about our own bishop here. Bishop a3 looks possible. Looks more valuable than c2. When they save the queen, we'll come back to c5 and guard the b3 pawn. And now we're up 20 seconds too. Oh. Did Hikari's streak end? Wait, that's a free piece. That's a free queen. And that's a win. Back on track. Moves us almost into the top 500 again. All right, we'll take it. So I've got an extra pawn, but at a heavy cost to my dark squares. Yeah, it's not the first time someone's hung that horizontal queen capture. I'm expecting him to take on f7 at any moment. He doesn't, though. Let's get out of that pin. And we'll pretend we queenside castled. Now I can move the bishop with some discoveries. Got to be a little careful because my knight would be loose in that position. Okay, we'll go there. And we're just up 2 pawns here with the material coming off the board. So I like this a lot. Down a minute on the clock, but getting a 3rd pawn for our troubles. Now we just have to find some safety. Or just get checkmate. Finding checkmate also ends the game. All right. Back over 1852. And we faced this player before. This is the player that was offering us draws. An exchange Slav. Interesting. Guess we'll take this way. This is new. I have not faced this before. Debating whether or not to take this pawn. I think yes. And if they go queen here, I can either play queen e7, or I can play my pawn up. I kind of like that better. Need to finish my development. They take the bishop twice, then I play rook to e8, and I win the queen. Okay, so they don't do that. We will take there, though. All kinds of threats happening. Take here also. Might be another game where our dark squares get really weak. Oh, nope. That would be a bad queen trade because it would be a free queen. There would be no trading going on. Let's go check, and I can pull back to defend if I need to. Seeing if I can get away with not doing that doesn't seem worth it. Now I'm thinking queen to d4 and just take the rook. Okay, now it doesn't work because they're defending with their other rook. Okay, but now it might work again. And then check. And now they offer a draw since they're down 8 points of material. That's checkmate. Okay, and that is 3 in a row. And we are all the way up to 318th. And Benjamin Bach is in the top 10 also now. Okay, on to this game, facing someone that's just joined or hasn't won yet. In my experience, we need to get into the 40s to really have a chance to qualify for any sort of prize. So we're going to have to continue this streak for a while, since we're only at 18 at this point. I'm going to just take that. Yeah, I don't think they're ready for a whole kingside attack. Let's go after the a-pawn. Pushing this doesn't work, does it? No, I don't think so. What about pinning the knight, though? That could work. Try and create something. Oh. Well, that's just checkmate. Yeah, that knight was pinned. Maybe he could go back to block the pin after stealing that pawn, but that's 4 in a row. We're in 220th now. 22 points. WFM. From Belarus. E6, okay. They played E5, I was going to go knight F3. But this seems reasonable also for us. Looking at that C4 square, I believe. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes. Looks interesting. Let's go for it. Knight C4, I can back the bishop up and take. Okay, so they don't take with the bishop, so maybe that just didn't make sense what I said. I do get this pawn, though. Maybe I was trying to force something that wasn't there. Let's come all the way back. Yeah, I guess I thought their bishop was already on B7 or something. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Not sure what I was thinking, but it didn't work. That being said, the game is far from over. I want them to take this knight so that I get to take on E6. Okay, they just go ahead and castle. Let's take anyway. Oh, actually, this is really strong. Check. And now we're just up 3 pawns. Ah, not quite. Not quite up 3 pawns. Okay, so I've got 3 pawns for a piece. Let's get this rook over to the king side for an attack. To trade or not to trade? 50 seconds left. To not trade it is. Ah, that wasn't good. Guess we'll go back. I can't teleport my queen over to a good square. Nice attack by my opponent. Looks like I needed to trade queens. So on Twitter, you mentioned a few out-of-state tournaments. I'm going to be going up to Nashville in a couple weeks for the Magic City Open. And then I'm going to be going to Vegas in June for the National Open. And then probably also in early June going to Atlanta for the Summer Open. That's the plan right now. So I don't know if Tennessee and Georgia really count as out of state, but Vegas definitely does. So we lost our streak, but we're still in 263rd. Lots of tournament left. Where's that knight going? Just over 2,000. USCF. So hopefully this series of 5 or 6 tournaments will help us push over that. I'm not sure where my queen belongs here. Yeah, the About page isn't quite current. But it's a rough estimate. Yeah, I think I've got 6 or 7 tournaments lined up in the next 2 months. Maybe more than that, depending on how things go. So I'm going to be trying to play as much as I can now that things are returning to normal. Okay, maybe bishop c6. That's my thought. Is this series? I don't think this is going to get me to 2200 or anything, but I think that 2100 is probably around where my strength is right now. But it's hard to tell without actually playing the games. Do I take with the knight here and keep that diagonal open? I think so. He takes with the bishop. We're going to jump the second knight in. I want to take the bishop and then take on g3. Ooh, okay. He goes after that pawn, which I wasn't overly concerned with, but maybe I should have been. Where's his bishop going to go now? He goes to that square. Okay. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's take here. And do I just capture on c3? I'm going to go for it. And now if the knight moves, I'm going to take on d3 with the rook. And I'm on the queen, and if the queen isn't careful, I'm going to be winning the knight also. Can't go there. I can pin the knight. Let's double rooks. When I get close to 2200, I'll play the worst chess ever. You made an illegal move in one of your games? Wow. Yeah, I think that if I play enough events, I'll get close. I wasn't too nervous approaching 2,000, but I was confident that I was already above that strength. I think that if I'm getting close to 2,200 and I'm not confident that I deserve it, then yeah, definitely could get some nerves there. All right, we are really low on time. I got all the pawns I wanted for my piece, but we don't have time to convert it. Out of time. That was an interesting game, though. Maybe I didn't need to go for that sacrifice on c3 or to win the pawn on c3, but I think the biggest thing, Nelson, for me is going to become more consistent playing those people 1,800 to 2,000. Since up to this point, I've mainly relied on just getting some big wins against like 2,200s to offset a lot of my not so flashy losses against those people 18 to 1,900. He's really delaying that knight c6. And I think I can push this pawn. And it's pretty dangerous for him to take it. I say that, maybe it's not true in this exact position, but... Oh, he goes all the way back. Yeah, those dark squares are a little bit weak right now. G6 looks dangerous. I want to play knight to e4. So we can open up the position a bit for my bishops. This bishop's probably going to end up on c3 some point soon. Cases and bases board next. Redeeming choose piece set. Okay. We can definitely do that. So he retreats the bishop to avoid that. Bishop takes, knight takes f6 check. All right, move ourselves off the dark square. He might go knight to h5 and try and jump into the g3 square, but that's defended for the moment. Let's push it back again. I can take this rook also. Maybe I should have taken the rook first. Does he have a good place to save the rook? Okay, and still the bishop and the rook are under attack. Oh, the rook's not under attack anymore. So I did have to take the rook first. Interesting. Okay. That didn't work, did it? Now we're just down a piece. Is this worth playing on? Probably. We're both at a minute. His king's still in the center. We'll play on a few more moves. Okay. Giving us chances here. Probably keep the queen. At least for the moment. Ah, that doesn't work. Yeah, if I had sacrificed on g6, they could have just blocked with the bishop anyway. So, no good sacrifice there. All right, 22 minutes left. That's enough time for one more streak. Cases and bases. We'll play our first French of the day. Haven't been playing much French defense. And we've stumped him. An advance, okay. Let's go an early queen b6. b3 seems strange. I think I'm supposed to take and play bishop b4, if I remember correctly. And then now I can take this pawn also. And now we're on this rook too. Do we take the rook or do we take the bishop? And I'm worried about just getting checkmated if I take the rook, but I think we've got to do it. We're attacking e5 with some threats also. So bishop b5, I'm going to block with the bishop and hope my king is safe on d7. I'd love to find a way to trade queens too. Now if he castles, I'm not going to take the e-pawn because I'm going to try and keep the e-file closed. The new piece set is working. Okay, let's bring this knight in. Now I need to get my queen out of danger. Any advice for picking up the win hour? Queen takes a2. The queen was defended there. Or did you mean, well, that's not, oh, that's defended. Instead of knight e7. Yeah, I was prioritizing the development. Let's offer the queen trade. As white, I don't even know if I would recommend it. Because it's all about who knows more theory, and I think the theory is just easier for black to learn. Oh, mouse slip. I dropped my queen. I didn't mean to drop my queen. Didn't mean to do that. I was clicking on it and it moved. But yeah, there's not really a lot of great resources. If you want to play it as white, there are a couple of Chessable courses. I think Anish or Hare Krishna, but he doesn't recommend the main line. He recommends like an exchange pretty early on. When I was learning it myself, I mostly just used like the chess.com and Lichess databases. when I play it as white, I get a lot less theory than when I play it as black. So, like, whenever I play people and they have the white pieces and they go into it, they typically know a good bit of theory. But then the opposite is true whenever I've got the black pieces. And I think the reason or when I have the white pieces myself. I think the reason is because normally I'm only getting it as white when it's a longer time control or an over the board game. And as black, I get it all the time. And so it's a lot more rare in my white games for the theory to pay off. All right, we're just down a piece here. Let's resign this and go on. Yeah, I can't get people to consistently play it as black online. They're much more likely to play some kind of funky sideline. Maybe that's a reflection of the time control. Oh, we'll take there, okay. One thing that I did whenever I was learning it from both sides is I played an over-the-board thematic match. I had a friend that was around 1900 USCF when I was approaching 2000, and we played a 6 or 8 game match where we agreed to play the win hour in every game. And that was helpful because we were able to prepare for the games and we were able to use what we were learning. So it might be worth trying to find someone to play a match with you that's thematic, even if it's just online at a slower time control. I can take that pawn, but that seems awfully dangerous. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. Thematic matches are a great way to learn an opening. Capture or just push the A-pawn. Where's that knight going next? Going to take this bishop maybe? So he can take the D6 pawn, but I get to open the queen side. That's the trade-off here. So let's keep pushing. And let's play B3. Okay, so no rook takes A3 yet. But we're looking for it. But it's not there. And we may have needed that knight. He can give up the rook here. I'm not sure about that, though. Yeah, he doesn't do that. So rook here, rook captures, pawn captures, check. King captures. It further opens things up, so let's try it. We gotta try and get something going. Here. Then the rook check. Okay, so now the rook isn't doing anything on the file anymore. but we're running a little low on pieces. To be honest, we're running low on pieces. We'll try a couple more moves for fun. And clearly we're going to need to practice some 3-0 for next time. Okay, so they're letting me take there. Switch to the dark squares. 2 seconds left. Not enough time. Oh, I think we had a chance there when they gave the bishop up to stop our checkmate. When our queen got down there, but there wasn't enough time. And I think that switching to the dark squares was a mistake, because then my bishop had trouble helping my queen. It's too easy for them to avoid checks then. All right, time for 2, maybe 3 more games. I'm facing a lot of Najdorfs this time, which is new. So I'm going to have to brush up on my theory as white here also. What's my bishop doing? Considering a sacrifice on b5. But not yet. Now, perhaps? Looks interesting. And then I want to take on d6. With their king still stuck in the middle. Ooh, the queen comes up a bit. Maybe bishop to b5. I've got 2 pawns. I could have grabbed a 3rd pawn for the piece, but I want to keep some more material here. So bishop b5 looks dangerous for them. And they still haven't figured out what to do about their king. Guess we're taking there. Okay, center's opening up. Maybe we bring this rook over at some point. They can't capture on f3 because the d7 knight is loose. So maybe rook to f1 and push f4, f5 next. Time is pretty close to equal. Okay, so which king is in trouble? Which king is in trouble? Is he going to sacrifice the rook here? I didn't think that would work. Okay, so now we've got the exchange. And I can give back the exchange if needed. He's down to 10 seconds. Okay, that wins the queen. The queen's pinned. They can't take my queen. Whew, okay. Time for one last game. Try and end on a high note here. Ooh, early e5. We had a similar position earlier in the tournament. If they take here, I get to take with check. And I guess I'm exchanging queens, since we've got some additional threats. Hit the bishop again. And he just resigns. Why did he resign here? I guess he wanted another game. I don't think the position was that crushing yet. Okay, well, let's try and get one more in then. We have not had very many e4, e5 games at all today. Double gambit. Okay, we'll go king f1. We're on g7 and we're on the knight. So we should just be winning material. Which one first? We'll take the knight. Still on g7, and we've got some threats over here. Ooh. So we'll throw in that check. Now I want to have a knight. Alright, we'll go after this rook. And there's enough time that I don't think they can just stall. Keep our bishop safe. The rook is still trapped. And let's get my king out of danger. Connect my rooks and try and use those files. Actually, now he can stall. And the game can't abort. I was not quite fast enough. Defense. They get my queen. That was a nice little trick. I was trying to avoid the perpetual. Okay, but they still have some problems here. That looks like a problem. I take... We'll let them checkmate us. Good game to my opponent. 10 seconds left. No reason to let our clock run out.